Finally, a Wolverine movie rated R. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you all so much for clicking on this video, and if you are new here, my name is Ledger and I am a YouTuber who likes to talk about movies all the time. So if you are someone that in the past have been told you talk movies too much, talk about something else, or you're shamed for that, then you've come to the right place, because this is a channel where you can talk about movies whatever you want, as much as you want, whatever movies you want, and I will not argue unless they're bad movies, in which case hate on them. And as well as the fact that today I am reviewing Logan. So we'll start by talking about the good. The good. And the first thing I'm going to mention is the performances. The performances are outstanderific. They are out of this world fantastic. I think Hugh Jackman, this is hands down easily his best performance. And that's not saying that he's performing bad in his other movies. It just means he is so great in this. He should have at least got Oscar nominated for this. This is great stuff. And I will die on the hill saying Patrick Stewart should have won Best Supporting Actor. He should have at least gotten nominated for it. He may have, I don't know, but this film, outstanding, and I love it. And the second thing I'm going to talk about is that this is a Wolverine movie, like I said in the intro, that is rated R. And if you think that it's probably not going to be too hard of an R, I'll give you two words: Berserker Rage. Yep, you guys just saw it, and so, well, I mean, you saw part of it. I wasn't going to show the entire thing. I don't want to get demonetized. But this is a film where they go for it. It's because they were wanting to do the Old Man Logan plotline, and that has to be rated R. I mean, that would be really funny, trying to find some way to PG-13ify Logan slowly dying, and him slowly, and then getting him stabbed in the chest through a branch. That would be extremely funny to see how they could actually neuter that to PG-13. But this is a film I adore. At the moment, it's my favorite comic book film of all time. I get it. The Dark Knight's always been my favorite. I'm going to rewatch The Dark Knight in January, and perhaps it'll make the leap. But at the moment, Logan is right now my favorite comic book film of all time. Hosta, please go easy on me. I mean, if you think The Dark Knight is better than Logan, I completely am fine with that. It's just at the moment, I think Logan's everything I've always wanted in a film like this. And I think that it's awesome getting to see Logan seeing what he can do when he is angry. Like, there's many scenes, especially that opening scene, where you get more than what you need if you're a fan of violence. Like, you get to see him dismembering people. He's cutting off limbs. He's stabbing people hard. Like, he is doing whatever he can. He does so many things. And I like how this is much more of a grounded version of the character. It's not like this over-the-top thing like the Wolverine started to do in, like, the last act. It's not this, like, really romanticized version of a superhero with, like, these terrible CGI claws. Yep, I'm looking at you, X-Men Origins Wolverine. But this is a much more grounded version of the character. He's more grounded, he's more realistic, he's more just how do I say this? He's more cynical, kind of. He knows that he's slowly dying, and it's a much more grimy type movie where it's very violent and brutal. And also there's some really cool action here, and since it's grounded, it feels real. Like the Wolverine, it gets so I do still enjoy the last act more than most, but I will say the last act, it really starts to really get a bit, how do I say this, unrealistic at times. This one feels more grounded and realistic. It feels like it's a much darker version where we see exactly what's happening. They don't cut away for anything. Like, especially that Berserker Rage in the forest scene near the end of the movie, where we just see There's a scene where Rambo does do something in the forest. Many scenes, but still, we're not talking about Rambo. There's a scene where Logan injects himself with this like serum thing that really just makes him go unbelievably hostile, and he destroys everything. And I love that scene where he just, after that, he's just like stabbing people, and then he stabs one guy several times, and then he removes it and goes like, ah! I'll try and show the clip right here. And I think it's awesome. I think that the cinematography is some of the best because it feels like a much more post-apocalyptic thing with the cinematography. It's a much more post-apocalyptic type movie than something like it's not like Mad Max Fury Road. It's not like it's not like this futuristic type thing like Blade Runner 2049. It's a much more grounded version of a type thing. I'm saying grounded a lot because it is. And I adore this film. I think that the performances are great. This Hugh Jackman, I will say, rivals Heath Ledger right now for my favorite acting performance in a comic book film, because he's built so much effort and time into perfecting this character. Where in X-Men, we see like this is the character we want. You can tell where he's in the cage. He has the cigarette. No, not a cigarette. He always smokes cigars, not cigarettes, and he has this very animalistic look. We're like, that's our Wolverine, and by the end, this is a spoiler review, by the way, but by the end, when he gets stabbed so hard, and believe me, I don't care if I'm a man. This is hard for me to take, especially considering I love this movie, and I love the character of Logan. He is my second favorite superhero of all time behind Captain America, so I absolutely love this character, and seeing what happens in the score is really sad. I'm sorry. Pull yourself together, man. And there's just so much like great performances like here, and I think Patrick Stewart, it's a bit of a takeaway from his character in the first place. Like he's never been like that, but it makes sense because the story where he kind of has dementia or whatever. He has something that makes his brain go weird. So it makes sense in terms of why he's doing this. And I also like how they give us slow hints of things like the mutants and how they went extinct. Well, mostly they're very rare now. And how we're given subtle little context of what happened to them. So we have to piece together. It's like hinted at that Professor X killed a lot of them with his when he had a brain thing that killed most of the mutants, and Logan was the only one that survived because he's Logan, so he can't die. So, and I like how the way that they show him and how he's still not healing as well, like especially in that opening where we're seeing him take out the bullets slowly, and that's awesome. Sorry if you heard any like screaming in the background. I have some noisy siblings, so sorry about that. It shouldn't be continuing too much longer. So anyway, this movie is absolutely amazing. I think everything about this film, except for like maybe one thing, is great, but I'll get to that when we talk about the bad. But other than that, this is a perfect movie. And yes, absolutely flawless. And I think everything just encapsulates what we want to see in a Wolverine movie. We get the violence that we've been wanting since day one when we find out that Wolverine has claws. And we also get a lot more of a grounded feel. So it's not too superhero-y. It's much more, it takes more from like these westerns than the actual comic book movies. So I think it's awesome. And I love the ending, and that, especially that score when he's like dying, and after he dies, he's like, "Don't be what they made you." And when he's dying, and then that score, tears. Sorry, pull yourself together. Ow. Okay, I can do this. It's not too much longer. But in conclusion, for the good, I absolutely adore this movie. My favorite comic book film at the moment. It could change as soon as I see I rewatch The Dark Knight, because Hasta is gonna have me, and probably and I believe Filmkit is also doing it. The Dark Knight trilogy binge of Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises. So it could change, but at the moment, my favorite comic book film of all time is Logan. As far as the negatives, The only one I have is a scene involving X-24. I don't hate X-24 as a villain. I have no idea why people think that. I think it's a stupid argument. He's one of the coolest things about the movie. He's really cool. The way he's basically a clone of Logan. But as far as negatives, and a lot of people are going to be like, you're seriously knocking down this movie to bring up this movie? Yes. I'm breaking down Logan to reinforce X-Men Origins Wolverine. I know a lot of people are absolutely furious. Here's what I'm going to say. This has a potential plot hole that you could point out back in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Back in X-Men Origins Wolverine, we see that there's that adamantium bullets. Apparently, Logan gets hit with it several times. He gets hit with it like several times in the chest. Then he gets one to the head and it wipes his memory. And this, when Logan's being killed, well, no, he already is. He's stabbed with it, and then he's slowly just getting stabbed again with the claws. We see X-23, aka Laura. We see her grab the gun that has an adamantium bullet in it, and she shoots him in the head, and it breaks off a big chunk of his face, and he's dead, and he dies. The thing I don't get is X-24 is supposed to be just as powerful, if not more powerful than Logan, so he would have the exact ability of Logan, so he would probably have the adamantium skeleton as well, because he's known to be able to heal partially, especially after that first fight where he encounters them. So the thing I don't get is how come in X-Men Origins Wolverine, when Logan gets shot, it wipes his memory, but when X-24 gets shot in Logan, it kills him. That's the only thing I don't get. If anyone wants to comment down below to answer that question, they totally can. But I have no clue, and it's not negative. That's a small little nitpick. Small. Other than that, this film is utterly perfect. I adore this film. I need to rewatch it soon, and I just rewatched it a few days ago. I just watched it a few days ago. I love this movie. It's right now in my top 10 of all time and pretty high there. I adore this film. I absolutely love it. So, in conclusion, guys, this is easily a 10 out of 10, A+. This is a fantastic film. Make sure to follow me on Letterboxd if you wanted to know what my thoughts are early before I do things like reviews and that. Let me know. What are your thoughts about Logan in the comments below? Do you think it's overrated? I actually got a few people saying that, which I have no idea why. It's a perfect film. Except for the small little nitpick, but I would still say it is perfect, even if that is a small little nitpick. But please, somebody, please comment below and answer that question for me, because I do not want to have to hold it against this. The only thing I can think of is that this adamantium bullet was a lot more packed with the adamantium, so it could have really been a stronger dose of it, so it could have possibly damaged X-24 too much. That is the only way I can comprehend that, but even then, Wolverine gets shot several times with the adamantium bullet. And how is this that X-24 manages to die? Oh, it's easy. Because Logan is rated R, so we get to kill somebody, and then we get to see him have a chunk ripped off of his face. It is awesome. It is awesome to see that. So, in conclusion, I love this film. Make sure to... Sorry again about that little cut. Like I was saying, make sure, guys, to go out and watch this film. Don't rent it. Buy it. It is worth every penny, nickel, dime, and dollar that you spend on this fantastic film. It is worth it. You guys will love it. And this is such a great conclusion to the X-Men franchise. It is the greatest X-Men film, the greatest Marvel film, the greatest superhero film at the moment. I need to rewatch The Dark Knight. And one of my favorite films of all time. So go out and buy this film. It is a masterpiece in every sense of the word. I adore this film. And it is easily my favorite comic book film at the moment. I need to rewatch The Dark Knight. Well, not easily. The Dark Knight's close. But still, at the moment, I will say I will give Logan a 10 out of 10. And is easily making the push. It is in my top 10 of all time right now. I know this could be contributed to recency bias, but this is Logan we're talking about. Everyone loves it. Even the people that think it's overrated still find the film good. Well, mostly. And it's one of the I think it's the highest rated on it's the highest rated it's the highest rated X-Men film on IMDb, both on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, so I'm not the only one. So go out and buy this film and give it a watch and treat yourself to a fantastic comic book film. But if you're someone that does not like violence and a lot of swearing and possibly and a tiny bit of nudity in the film, it may not be for you. And if you're also someone that really does not like big, like really, really bad violence, then I would not recommend this movie to you as well. It is sad. It is violent, gory, brutal, graphic in every sense of those words. So if this film is the type of film for you, if you're a fan of rated R, hard R action films, go out and get this film. But if you're not, and if you get scared by that type of thing, maybe this movie's not for you. But if you love that type of film, go out and buy this. And if you love the X-Men films, you will love this one too. But thank you all so much for watching. Please follow me on Letterboxd to see some of these like reviews and lists early. My ranking the X-Men films came up a day early before I released my actual ranking. And stay tuned for in a few days. I will probably be releasing my ranking of every 2023 movie I've seen ranked. That'll be a big one. And believe me, there were some great movies this year. And then there was Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Five Nights at Freddy's, and The Black Demon and other stuff. You got some really bad films on that list too. But thank you all so much for watching, and have a good one.